Here are the completed sentences with appropriate transitional devices, along with an explanation of the grammar rule and logical function behind each choice. 1. The dog barked all night, consequently, the neighbors had no sleep. Transitional device, consequently, or therefore. Grammar rule/function, cause and effect. Explanation. The first clause states an action or event, the dog barking all night, and the second clause states the direct result or outcome of that event, the neighbors losing sleep. Transitional adverbs of cause and effect show logical consequence and are typically preceded by a semicolon or a comma when linking closely related independent clauses. 2. Humera bought a new dress. Furthermore, she also bought shoes and a purse. Transitional device. Furthermore, or moreover, in addition. Grammar rule/function. Addition/continuation. Explanation. This transitional device is used to add supporting or extra information to the previous statement. Humera buying a dress is built upon by the additional purchase of shoes and a purse. Grammatically, it acts as a conjunctive adverb joining parallel thoughts. 3. The police had no clues for the case. However, tips were still coming in. Transitional device. However, or nevertheless. Grammar rule/function. Contrast/concession. Explanation. This transition introduces a contradiction or an unexpected turn of events. Having no clues normally implies a dead end, but the arrival of tips creates a contrast. Grammatically, when linking two independent clauses, a conjunctive adverb like however is preceded by a semicolon and followed by a comma. 4. I have 500 rupees. Nonetheless, I don't want to spend it. Transitional device. Nonetheless, or still yet. Grammar rule/function. Concession/unexpected result. Explanation. This device is used to present a point that runs counter to what the first clause might suggest. Having money usually leads to spending it, but the second clause introduces a reservation or restriction despite having the funds. And the grammar rules used for the sentences visible at the top of the image, numbered 5 to 8. 5. We got up early this morning, therefore we were sleepy all day. Use of the transitional device, therefore, is used to show a cause and effect relationship. Getting up early is the cause, and being sleepy all day is the resulting effect. Grammar rule, therefore, can function as a conjunctive adverb. When it links two independent clauses, complete thoughts, it must be preceded by a semicolon or period and followed by a comma, independent clause. Therefore, independent clause. 6. The band played her favorite song. Indeed, it was the whole audience's favorite song. Use of the transitional device. Indeed is used to emphasize, reinforce, or add supporting detail to the preceding statement, confirming that the song was universally loved. Grammar rule. Like other conjunctive adverbs connecting two independent clauses, indeed requires proper punctuation to avoid a run-on sentence. It is typically separated by a semicolon before it and a comma after it. Independent clause. Indeed, independent clause. 7. Sonia forgot about the test. As a result, she didn't do well on it. Use of the transitional device. As a result is a transitional phrase used to express a direct consequence. Forgetting about the test leads directly to performing poorly on it. Grammar rule. Multi-word transitional phrases functioning as conjunctive adverbs between two independent clauses follow the same punctuation pattern, preceded by a semicolon and followed by a comma. Independent clause. As a result. 8. They had salad before dinner. Even so, they were still hungry when the main course arrived. Use of the transitional device. Even so is a transitional phrase used to show contrast or concession. Even though they ate a starter, salad, an unexpected or contrasting condition remains. They were still hungry. Grammar rule. When connecting two independent clauses that contrast with one another, a transitional phrase like even so requires a semicolon before it and a comma after it. Independent clause. Even so, independent clause.
As a mini engineering class for your writing. We're going to use a bridge builder metaphor to make some incredibly powerful grammatical concepts really visual and super easy to apply. So, if you want your ideas to flow seamlessly, you're in exactly the right place.
Let's be real for a second. We've all been there. You have these great ideas, but when you actually put them on the page, the writing can feel, well, choppy. It kind of feels like a bumpy dirt road instead of a smooth highway. But hey, don't worry. It happens to the absolute best of us. Today, we're building a toolkit of smart connectors that is going to solve this beautifully.
So here's our quick roadmap for today. First, the magic of transitions. Second, cause and effect connections. Third, adding information and emphasis. Fourth, navigating contrast and concession. And finally, we'll wrap up with the golden punctuation rule.
All right, part 1, the magic of transitions, or as I like to call it, building the bridges.
Think of your complete thoughts as these little isolated islands floating in the ocean of your paragraph. To travel from one to the next, you literally need sturdy bridges. Now, you might have heard the totally intimidating grammar term conjunctive adverb, but let's just call them our smart connectors. Basically, they're transitional devices that link closely related independent clauses so we can show a very specific logical relationship between those two thoughts.
Moving to section 2, cause and effect connections, also known as the ripple effect.
Let's look at a little micro-story. The dog barked all night, the neighbors had no sleep. The first clause states an action or event, and the second clause states the direct result or outcome of that event. To show this logical consequence, we bridge them with a transitional device like consequently or therefore. So it becomes, the dog barked all night, consequently, the neighbors had no sleep.
Here's an incredibly relatable one. We got up early this morning, therefore we were sleepy all day. Therefore is used here to show a cause and effect relationship, acting as our conjunctive adverb. Getting up early is the clear cause, and being sleepy all day is the resulting effect. So the crucial takeaway is that when an action leads directly to a consequence, we pull from this specific group. For example, Sonia forgot about the test. As a result, she didn't do well on it. As a result is a multi-word transitional phrase, but it's used exactly the same way to express a direct, unavoidable consequence. Forgetting the test leads directly to performing poorly.
Okay, section 3, adding information and emphasis, or simply piling it on.
Sometimes you aren't showing a result, you just want to pile on more good stuff. Picture this. Humaira bought a new dress. Furthermore, she also bought shoes and a purse. This transitional device is used to add supporting or extra info to the previous statement. Her buying a dress is built upon by those additional purchases, and grammatically it acts as a conjunctive adverb joining parallel thoughts.
And sometimes you want to do more than just add information. You want to emphasize it heavily. Check this out. The band played her favorite song. Indeed, it was the whole audience's favorite song. Indeed is used right here to reinforce, emphasize, and add major supporting detail to the preceding statement. It completely confirms that the song was universally loved.
To summarize this category, your key addition and emphasis transitions are furthermore, moreover, in addition, and indeed. Just note that their logical function is strictly for continuation, supporting the previous statement and adding real weight to that first independent clause.
All right, section 4, navigating contrast and concession, the plot twist.
This is the toolkit we use when we encounter totally unexpected turns of events. Let's lean into a baffling mystery for a second. The police had no clues for the case. However, tips were still coming in. Having literally no clues normally implies a total dead end, right? But the arrival of tips creates this sharp contrast. This transition beautifully introduces that contradiction.
Here is a fantastic example of a concession, or an unexpected result. I have 500 rupees. Nonetheless, I don't want to spend it. Normally, having money leads straight to spending it, but nonetheless is used here to present a point that runs completely counter to what that first clause suggests. It introduces a restriction despite having the funds.
Your core contrast and concession transitions are, however, nevertheless, nonetheless, still, yet, and even so. And multi-word phrases function beautifully here too. Think about this. They had salad before dinner. Even so, they were still hungry when the main course arrived. Even so shows contrast. Because even though they ate a starter, that totally unexpected condition of still being hungry definitely remains. Now this just brilliantly illustrates our entire mental filing cabinet. We're mapping the logical functions directly to the transition words. If you want cause and effect, you grab therefore for the barking dog. If you want addition, you grab furthermore for the new dress. And if you need contrast, you grab however for those police clues. This makes choosing your connectors incredibly intentional.
Which brings us to section 5, the golden punctuation rule, or the nuts and bolts.
You have the materials now, but if you don't bolt them down properly, your sentences are just going to collapse into run-ons. You absolutely have to memorize this formula. Independent clause, semicolon, transition, comma, independent clause. For literally every single example we covered today, whether you use therefore or indeed or however, the semicolon acts as a soft stop after the first thought, and the comma provides a brief, necessary pause right after the transition word. Let's see how this builds structurally, step by step. Step 1, write your complete first thought. Step 2, insert that semicolon. Seriously, never just use a comma here or you're going to create a comma splice. Step 3, add your transition device, like therefore. Step 4, insert your comma immediately after the transition. Step 5, complete the second thought. Single words or multi-word phrases are always sandwiched by this specific punctuation when connecting two independent clauses. You now have the exact toolkit to confidently eliminate disconnected, choppy sentences in your own writing for good. By choosing the right logical connector and bolting it down with that golden punctuation rule, your ideas are going to flow flawlessly. So, I want to leave you with this. Look at the absolute last